Good morning. Happy Sunday. So, I'm sure a lot of you see the title of my video, Don't Fixate on Ingredients and Food Groups, which is what we're going to talk about in a couple minutes. And you may have some experience with this sort of thing. But first, as usual, I'm just going to talk about why I'm qualified to discuss these things. And so, as many of you know, I was in the hospital years ago, and it was actually a few years after that I learned about the idea of using food as medicine and just how powerful it could be. So I became a health coach to become that bridge for people, to get from wherever they are with their health, whether that's overcoming an illness or disease, or if it's just becoming the best version of themselves health-wise. I can take them from where they are to where they want to be in a much faster and easier way than it was for me. For me, I just took a gradual path, and so I'd like to just be the kind of time machine for people to move them more quickly and give them all the resources that they need and recipes and things that they want, to get them from where they are to where they want to be. And along my journey, I also learned about just how powerful the food and nutrition is, and how easy it really is, and just how we should take advantage of what it offers. So I like to share this message with as many people as possible so that we could just not have to deal with a lot of the diseases that we're dealing with. I know a lot of nutrition and with different, with a healthy enough diet, we can reverse diseases. But what if we didn't have to deal with them in the first place, right? Wouldn't that be even better? So that's why I do what I do and why I like to share what I share. So back to the topic for today, and I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm reading my notes. Don't fixate on ingredients and food groups. So this is the thing I hear from a lot of people, like, oh, I don't eat sugar, or I don't eat soy, or I don't eat this. It's like, so the main ones that I've heard about lately are sugar, soy, fermented foods, seed oils. That was a new one for me. And the old, the very popular carbs, because I think there's a lot of misinformation about what exactly that means. So in all those cases, it really depends on how the food is processed. So just saying like sugar alone, it really doesn't have the power I think that a lot of people realize it does. It doesn't mean definitely totally what they think it means. There's a huge difference between added sugars and things like sugars in fruit and sugars that are naturally in foods and things like that. And I think there's just a huge difference. People don't always understand what it means either. I think that's the same thing with carbs. Yes, donuts, crackers, cookies are carbs, but so are fruits and vegetables, and I think there's a huge difference there. So just to label things with either the food group name or the food itself, I think is a dangerous kind of situation, because there's just so many different options, within either the food or the food group. Another thing that I learned is, the idea of fermented foods. I know that became really popular, and a lot of people wanted to add fermented foods, but there's a huge difference between foods that are naturally fermented and foods that just have vinegar added so they taste tangy, if that makes sense. So the foods, like a lot of foods that people buy at grocery stores that are like canned, like sauerkraut and stuff, I know that was something that we used to have in my when I was younger. There's really no benefits to something like that, because it's just, they add vinegar to make it taste tangy, but it's not necessarily the benefits of fermented foods that most people think it contains, if that makes sense. Let me just see if there's anything else. Just overall, it's the overall eating pattern, not necessarily one thing. So I implore you to really look at like some kind of food. I know, like for Juice Plus, for instance, there's a huge difference. Like the complete products, they include a lot of soy and in some of the products, and so a lot of people are like, well, I don't do soy. But there's a huge difference between like isolated soy protein, which is found in a lot of things, and water washed soy, which is what's incomplete. So it's a completely different thing. Not to use, no pun intended. But it's just a completely different thing. So, just to kind of look into those things and, use different resources and to help you kind of navigate those kind of things. So I just implore you to kind of think about those things before you just make a snap judgment about what something is. It might not be what you think it is, so just kind of look a little deeper into that. You can contact me through any of the social channels to ask me any questions if you, if you come across something that you want to ask a question about. We also, our best place that we share information is our Facebook group called One Simple Change with the Lungs. I will post that down below in the comments. And I definitely encourage you to join that if you haven't, because that's where we share a lot of different resources, recipes, articles, all different kinds of things, just to keep you on track with like different, motivation to get you to want to change your lifestyle and change your diet in a more positive way. So I'll post that down below. And definitely, if you're watching this on live or on replay, then feel free to share anything that this video makes you think of or makes you feel. Even if it's just an emoji, something to let me know what you're thinking about this topic. And definitely include anything that you think I may have missed. Or, anything, any ideas for future videos that you want more information about. I definitely encourage that, so that this can be as useful as possible for you. So I think that's about it. Let me just check. Yeah, that's about it. So I hope you have a beautiful and colorful day. Bye-bye, everybody.